Let's continue our 7th lesson, Economic Thought of Social Science. Okay, we have discussed about the basic problems in an economy. Okay, so there are 3 essential questions associated with every economic activity. We already studied what to produce, how much to produce, and also how to produce, and the last one, for whom to produce. So answer to these questions decide the relevance of economic activities. Let's continue. The first question, what to produce or how much to produce. Since resources are limited, it is very important to use the available ones and to decide what to produce for the welfare of the society. So if we decide to produce, if we decided to start production, first of all we have to think about the available raw materials or available resources and decide to produce for the welfare of the society. Okay, the various suggestions came up during the above discussion. We discussed already, we studied about Varun's school, isn't it? So in that discussion, various suggestions came up. Everyone was convinced that growing vegetables must be given top priority. So the identification of a crop for the cultivation and expected quantity of output is equally significant. So when we start a discussion or when we started for a planning in production, we have to think about what to produce. If it is an agriculture product, definitely we have to think about the crop, which crop we want to cultivate, and also the expected quantity of output. Okay, and when we decided decided to think about an industrial products, the type of industry, the number of units required, etc. also we want to discuss while planning. Food, shelter, clothing, hospitals, schools, etc. should be made available according to the wants of the society. There should be exist of balance between the wants of the society and the quantity of a product. So there must be a balance between the wants of the society or the needs of the society and also the quantity of a product. And the next question, how to produce. Following the discussion regarding what to produce and how much to produce, the question of how to produce arises. This denotes the method of production. So how to produce means what? How to produce, the method of production, how we can start our production. How to produce is decided on the basis of the availability of resources and technology. So how to produce is decided the raw materials available and also the technology, the resources, what all things we are getting. That decided our second question, how to produce. For example, the service of laborers and machines can be utilized for agricultural activities like preparing land for cultivation, sowing, weeding, manuring, harvesting and threshing. The selection of a particular method is decided on the basis of available resources in an area. So, underline that sentence. The selection of a particular method is decided on the basis of the available resources, available raw materials in an area. The method of production varies. Varies means what? Changes with the availability of resources. What all things we are getting, that decides our method of production. Okay, next we have to identify the answer for the last question, for whom to produce. Production is undertaken to satisfy the wants of the society. Underline that sentence. Production is undertaken to satisfy the wants of the society. Human wants are unlimited. That everyone knows, isn't it? As soon as one gets satisfied, another crops up. If we satisfied our one need, the next one arises. Okay. However, we may not have the necessary resources to satisfy all our wants. whatever it may be, we have only limited resources to satisfy our needs. Therefore, it is important to prioritize our wants. So, we have to list out our priorities, list out our wants. Then, after that, we want to satisfy one by one. Okay. We must plan production activity in such a way that it benefits the maximum number of individuals in the society. It is also important how the income generated is distributed. So, we want to plan production activities in such a way that how it benefits to the individual. Maximum number of individuals we want to satisfy. So, our production activities also like that way. Okay. It is also important how the income generated is distributed. Income generated is distributed as interest on capital, profit of the entrepreneur, wages of the labor, and rent of the land. So, it is very important how the income is distributed. Okay. Economics is not merely a study of wealth. It is also a study of man and society. Underline that sentence. Economics is not merely a study of wealth. It is also a study of man and society. The contribution of economic thinkers belonging to different periods have benefited the growth of economies. The ideas propounded by prominent Western thinkers like Adam Smith, who is the father of economics, have contributed to the growth of the subject. Let's see the ideas of a few. Adam Smith, in his An Enquiry into the Nature and the Causes of the Wealth of Nations, has laid a strong foundation for economics. He described economics as the study of wealth. He wanted limited government interventions in the economic activities and argued for more freedom to individuals. This is known as the theory of laissez-faire. Underline that sentence. He described economics as a study of wealth. He wanted limited government interventions in the economic activities and argued for more freedom to individuals. Okay. The Industrial Revolution led to the establishment of new industries and labor union. There occurred marked changes in technology and production process. The ideas put forward by Karl Marx are rooted in these changes. So the next economic thinker is Karl Marx. Karl Marx gave importance to the role of laborers in the production process. He maintained that the basis of production is the manpower of laborers and that the price of a product is rewarded for it. However, the laborers get only a portion while the lion's share goes to the capitalist as profit. So the laborers only got the wages. Is it? Only they get the wages. All the lion's share means most of the part goes to the capitalist, who is the owner as profit. Okay. Marx calls this surplus value. He dreamed about a society where there is no difference between the haves and the have-nots. So that's also very important. Underline that sentence. He dreamed about a society where there is no difference between the haves and have-nots. The idea of Marx are contained in his magnum opus, Das Kapital. Das Kapital is a very famous work of Karl Marx. The next is Alfred Marshall. He presented several new principles in the field of economics. He believed that wealth should ultimately result in the welfare of the society. Economic activities must be welfare oriented. These principles are contained in his work, Principles of Economics. Underline that. The world population reached 160 crore at the beginning of the 20th century and kept increasing. So, on that context, the questions prompted the British economist Lionel Robbins is very relevant or significant. Listen. Are we able to produce resources for such a multitude of population? How can we judiciously utilize the limited resources? These are the questions aroused by the British economist Lionel Robbins to concentrate on the ever-increasing wants and limited resources. He suggested that we should prioritize our wants for the judicious utilization of limited resources. Paul A. Samuelson, the American economist, presented his ideas in the beginning of the 20th century. He maintained that a nation's financial stability depends on efficient economic planning and proper utilization of resources. All the economists are thinking on the same way. Here, Paul A. Samuelson also saying that the financial stability depends on efficient economic planning and also proper utilization of raw materials or resources. So students, that's all for today. We have seen the prominent thinkers of the West, and we also have our Indian thinkers who contributed much to the economics that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.